Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Monique, and you are watching Little Mo Travels, my passion page. So, I pretty much one day decided that I wanted to talk about my city abroad experience, and I decided I was going to do it on YouTube. This video is another one of my favorite things videos. It's a new series I decided to start just to talk about my favorite things with the different countries and cities that I visited while I was abroad. Let's hop into Italy and my favorite things about Italy. In Italy, I went to three different cities. I went to Rome, I went to Pisa, and then I went to four different cities, Milan and Como. I have a friend. Her name is Julia. Julia met my sister while they were in high school together. Julia was in a study abroad program that took her from her high school to here in the United States for a year, I think. I feel like that's right, for about a year. And I still have the picture too when I met Julia the first time. And then when I studied abroad, I decided that I was going to go and visit Julia in Como. So she lives in Como, but she took me to Milan and it was just a really great time. I got to see and meet her boyfriend that she's been with for a long time and it was a great time. But anyway, we'll have another story about international friendships. Let's jump into one of my favorite things about Italy. Let's talk about the food. Of course, I always talk about the food. And like I said in my last video about Spain, I would tear the food up, tear it up. Man, I miss it. When I think about the food over there, I think about how I've been missing out. It was so fresh, newly prepared, not frozen beforehand and then popped in a microwave. It just tasted so good. Like literally like I can't even explain it. I can't even. So the food, my favorite thing that I tried over there was pizza. When I was with Julia, she took me to this restaurant around the corner from her house that made octopus pizza. So they would cut up the octopus, they would put the cheese on there, put the octopus on there, and that was it. It was so good. It was so good. I still think about it today. And I tell myself, I'm gonna make my way back there. I'm gonna make my way back to Como for the pizza. It was amazing. The gelato, okay? The gelato. Nothing tastes like the gelato over there. And there might be, I think there's a place here in California where I passed by that has good gelato, apparently. Man, the food, A1. A1. The coffee, untouchable. Oh God, I just can't even. So clearly, I was like a huge food lover over there, and anything I was always willing to try something. You didn't really have to get me to try too hard. I was always open because this was an experience. I didn't know when I was gonna come back here, so I just ate anything that I could. And if I didn't like it, I didn't like it. But if I did, oh man, you couldn't stop me. The pasta was great. It was different because how we make it over here versus how they make it over there. What's really authentic Italian? The sights. Oh, it was so great. If you watched, I think it was my spring break trip, I talked about how I went to Rome and I didn't get to see the Vatican because they had closed the Vatican that day for some reason. And so I missed out on that, but I did get to see all the other things, the Trevi Fountain. I got to see Pisa. I got to see Milan and the different sites in Milan and stuff like that, Lake Como, all of the things. So I did get to see some stuff while I was down there in Italy, and it was great. And I really do wish people could see this. When I get to see stuff like that, I be like, dang, like really? Number one, I be thinking to myself, like, God created all this, you know? But then I think again, imagine the people who don't have this experience or don't get to come out and see something like this. And so I try to take it all in pretty much. Another one of my favorite things about Italy, the language. I think I talked about this, but I might also tell this story in another video. So I won't go too in depth, but this was the story about how I could understand Italian and didn't realize that I could understand Italian. They're both Latin based languages, like Spanish and Italian are both Latin based. And so it makes sense that some of the words kind of sound like each other. But the fact that I could understand what people were saying was just like, wow, this is crazy. Because when you've only ever spoken one language and you've only ever been surrounded by one language your whole life, you don't realize how close it is to other languages. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Another thing I love about Italy, it's also kind of small and close in proximity to other things. So when I flew on my spring break trip, if you haven't seen the video, please go back and watch it. On my spring break trip, I got to fly from Spain to Italy, from Italy to Greece, from Greece back to Italy, from Rome to Pisa, took a train, and then took a flight from, I didn't fly out of Pisa. don't think. I think I took a train somewhere else. A train back to Rome and flew out of Rome to go to Paris or something like that, or London. Just easy to get around. And that's Europe in general, but that's something I really liked about Italy because I was easy, just like Spain, I was able to get around pretty easily. Those are my favorite things about Italy. It was a very quick video, mostly because I could really just talk about the food all day, but I know you don't want to hear about that. And just the opportunity to even go. That was great. Amazing. Thank you so much for listening. This is my favorite things about Italy. Please check out some of my other videos. I'm going to do more of my favorite things videos, so check out those, but also my other series, Study Abroad Stories, short little stories about what happens to me while I was abroad, interesting things, crazy things, silly things, funny things. And then my Study Abroad story, if you just want to know what happened while I was over there, or just an example of everything, just like a full on detailed story of my study abroad experience, please check that out. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's Little Mo Travels, so LILMOTRAVELS on Instagram. Follow me, and thank you all for watching.